Hello, Scott Grantley here again from Cars U Center, and we're just going to be doing a podcast here. And I just wanted to have you share a little bit about yourself and just give us some clarity about who you are.
Okay, so my name is Motcheck. I have lived in Shelby, Michigan for 34 years. I'm married to my husband Mike. We own a plumbing business here locally. We have 2 grown boys, and they went through the Shelby school system. I'm also a minister. I'm a pastor at Prayer and Praise Assembly in Ludington. And I also am an advocate and an intel analyst, and I travel the country looking for missing exploited kids, along with having a nonprofit called Forward.
Oh, awesome. So, how long have you been involved in this ministry that you...
Okay, so as far as human trafficking, so my husband and I have been in the anti-human trafficking fight for a really long time. Mm-hmm. But the way we started to do it was we just gave money to the organizations who are already doing it well.
Right.
So how do you do it? If you don't know what to do, you just pay the people who are doing it, and you help advance the kingdom that way, right? And then what we found out is that one of our own kids from our youth group in Oceana County had been trafficked several years ago, and we realized that we were very ignorant with what trafficking was, and that it was actually happening here locally. Yeah. So we decided that we were going to get trained up. I went and got some training 2021, and then in 22 we came back to West Michigan and said, let's funnel the money that we're sending everywhere else, put it back into our hometown, and how do we keep the kids in our community safe? And so we started a nonprofit in 22, and we've been fighting here locally since.
Oh, awesome. And so when you think about your, being a teenager and being a kid and then growing up in the area, what do you see as the biggest difference from then to now, where...
The biggest difference that I see isn't so much even when I was a kid, because we were outside till the streetlights came on, right?
That's how we were,
We were outside all the time, and once in a while you'd hear about someone being kidnapped. But when I think about my own kids, it was stranger danger. You don't talk to kids in the park or people in the park. You don't take candy from strangers.
Yes.
It was strangers that you could actually see, right? Now the predators are all on their devices, their gaming systems.
Yes.
They're predators that they cannot see, and they don't know that they're predators until it's too late. Yeah. So that's how I see that the safety has changed from us, the guy in the park, to now there could be 20 guys in your kids' bedrooms on their phones, right?
Yeah, on those gaming, And then, so you alluded to it, is that you saw something there. Have you seen those incidences here, like in Oceana County? Do we get maybe they're a little bit quieter, but have you seen anything here?
Yeah, so we'll share a little bit about this more when we meet, but we brought in school assemblies, and we did school assemblies in all of Mason and Oceana County, and in every school in Oceana County we found students who needed our assistance. So it's happening here locally. The problem that we see is with trafficking is we believe that it involves the white van, or that they're being moved in shipping containers, and so the word trafficking is the worst word that we have for trafficking, because these kids are living at home, going to school, but you have to think of what trafficking is, right? So it's force, fraud, or coercion. If they're being forced or coerced to do something outside of what they normally would want to do, then they're being trafficked. And so when we go into the schools, we actually find trafficking, but it's familial, right? Or it's something where it's drug related for the family or something like that. So in Oceana County, it's big.
It's big, yeah. And then would you say that is there one story, maybe with no names, but maybe a story that has really impacted you or that you were involved with? You don't have to share all of it, but maybe just a little bit of it. And then if you wanted to share more when we kind of meet in August, but is there something that has really impacted you or a person?
There's a lot of stories. I think one thing that I'll tell you something that kind of opened my eyes to what these kids are going through when I get to meet with them. So I travel, like I said, and I go all over to the big cities and I locate these missing children. When I get in front of these kids and we ask why, why are you here? How did you end up here? What they will tell us is that they are, the abuse that they are having right now in this trafficking circumstance is the most love they've ever felt. So one girl that I was talking to, she had the whole side of her head beat up. She was pregnant by a trafficker, and I asked her, we just came in with hope and with Jesus, and we tried to love on her. We have pearl bracelets that we give out to the girls because they are, the parable of the pearl. They are a pearl great price. We tell them about their worth. And I just asked her, do you think that there's more for you? Like Jesus would have more for you? And she said, well, I thought he did because this guy hurt me less than my dad did. And so this is the best form of love that she has felt. And so when these kids are doing this by choice, right, because they sometimes make a decision to go, it's the best form of love. And we can do better than that. Like, we can bring Jesus into this place and we can help love these kids. And that's what they're telling us in these circumstances. We also have a girl that was here in Hart, and she was actually being used to pay for her mom's heroin addiction. And she didn't even know that that was being trafficked. She just thought that's what she had to do to help her mother. And so it's those kind of stories where you know, we were able to get her the help she needed, but if we don't get in front of these kids and have these conversations, they don't even realize they're being trafficked, right?
And so, is there like classes, or is there some things that the churches could go through to get some more information? And again, you might be sharing that later, but is there some classes that?
I am so excited to get in front of youth workers, because one of the places that we've not been able to penetrate is the churches, which will blow your mind. So we started, our biggest drive was in Mason County because we had our task force form faster there with law enforcement, prosecutors. There's a whole team of people that we were able to pull together fast in Mason County. Oceana County's been a little bit more difficult. But in Mason County, we had a panel, like a Q&A that they could do. And one thing that we were called out on is that there wasn't any church on that panel besides myself. So I was the only pastor there. So we've invited youth pastors, we've invited churches, we've asked to go in, and no one wants us to go in there because trafficking is kind of a scary thing. And so I'm excited to get to share this with Oceana County ministry workers and see if there's a way that we can, you know, get in there, because we do need your help. And I can't wait to talk to you about how we need your help.
That's awesome.
In this fight.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And so like when we talk about, most people think it's like females and kids. Is there like a, you know, that stigma of, is there just females, and is there just an age, or have you seen it?
Yes.
All over.
All over, but the greatest age that we see, it's going to be, the target area is going to be like 12 to 15-year-old girls, and then the younger boys. And what we have found in fighting, so part of what we do is we fight predators on this side of the state. And what we're finding, you know, as we do that is the target is young boys. And so that's the higher, when they're online and they're meeting the young boys on gaming systems, they're looking for young men. And so it's stereotypical to think it's just girls, but we also have a lot of interaction with young men as well.
And so on August 5th, we are going to be meeting at New Beginnings Church, and she's going to come and share about Forward, and maybe not everything, but can you maybe share some of the topics that they would hear? And then we definitely want to pray for your ministry as well. But if there's just some of those subjects that maybe that they'll get, and then the other thing is, will there be information? So I'll let you talk. But yes, go ahead and share maybe some of the things that you'll be talking about.
So what we want to do is we want to share with you what we've been doing in West Michigan, right? So what have we been doing in Oceana, Mason County, Manistee County? All of those things. So we want you to have like an open book about what we're doing over here. And it's been a struggle to get to where we are today in the fight that we've got, and the advancements in the fight. So we want to share about that. We want to also talk about the trainings that we offer. So we have different things that we can bring into different organizations. What we want to bring into the schools. One of the things that we did that we'll share about is we were able to get in front of all the 7th graders in Mason County. The school system up there has been a little more, we've worked with them longer, I guess. And so we've been able to get in and do some things. But this year we're starting to do we met up with our school resource officer from Shelby, and he's helping us get into the Shelby schools. So I'm super excited about that. And it just takes one school to have us say something to then have other schools say, that's a really good program and we want it there too. So we want to be able to share about what we're doing in the schools. And then we want to share about what you can do to help this fight, because there is something that we need from you to help us get to an audience that we're not getting to. We're not asking you to join our team, right? We're not asking you to raise money for us and all that stuff, but you have a circle that you have an influence over. And if you hear what we have to say and what we're doing, and if it touches your heart and to where that you want this in your church community, we want to get in there. So we're going to share about that. And then we're going to have information, so pamphlets on that. We also have a flyer that we did on recognizing the signs of predators that we give to parents.
That's good. Yeah. So
we try to give that out to, we were part of a school fair, or if we're any place where we run into parents, we want to make sure that they have those. So we'll hand out some of those that you're welcome to take. And then if you have any questions to follow up, and if you want any kind of trainings, right? We want to be able to give you some tips and, certain trainings that might work for you, or certain ones that won't, or how do we do that for you and serve your community well?
Yeah, well, I really appreciate this, and so again, we're hoping that you youth pastors, leaders, just know that if you teach in any capacity within the Sunday schools and any Wednesday nights, we want you to come as well, and then to be able to get some input here. So again, thank you so much for coming.
It's really great.
And we will look forward to seeing you on August.